Companion planting can also create balance in your garden as well. Welcome to this week's Natural Gardening Live with me, Josie Rainbird, your natural gardening coach. And today we are talking about companion plants, how companion plants can support your garden, how they can support each other, and how they can play a massive role in helping the overall health and happiness of your garden. So, stay with me, and at the end I have a little treat for you as well. So, today we are talking about companion planting. Did you know that plants can help support each other? Did you know that plants can help to support the health of your garden and to attract in all the beneficial insects that you need to keep your garden nice, happy and healthy? I am here to tell you all about the different plants in your garden that can help support each other in various different ways. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what companion planting actually is. So we'll start off with that. If you know what companion planting is, please feel free to comment. Let us know how you include companion planting in your garden. So, companion planting, the Google or the Oxford Dictionary, whichever one look at it, as companion planting is defined as the close planting of different plants to enhance each other's growth and protect each other from pests. Generally how it's described. But it actually goes a lot deeper than that. You can use companion planting to a whole other level than just enhancing each other's growth. You can go to a deeper level than that with companion planting. So we'll talk to you about that in a minute. It's so much more than that. Companion planting can support and promote the life cycle of your plants, which is kind of what we want for the whole purpose of growing plants. They need to be able to complete the life cycle to carry on growing. So companion planting can promote the life cycle of your plants, encouraging more seed, more fruit. That means more fruit. More food if you're going for your veg patch, which we'll go into a bit later. Encourages more flowers as well. So whenever they go through the whole process of pollination to the seed, encourages more flowers, more seed, more fruit, more produce from your plants, more plants from your plants as well, because we know where seeds go. So companion planting can support your garden in that way. You can also include companion planting, get to my teeth in, companion planting to create cover, seriously. I should start again, shouldn't I? You can include companion planting in your garden to provide cover for other plants. So shade-loving plants, things that you shelter basically, you need a sheltered environment. You can use plants as companion plants to provide this for these little plants, all these other plants that need that kind of shelter. They can also provide like physical support in the way of structure. So if you've got plants that need to climb, you can climb them up a tree, or if you've got a standard shrub or anything like that, or roses, you can use them as companions in the way of support. So it's not just about the flowers and attracting in the beneficial insects, but they can actually provide physical, strong support for your plants as well. Realms of vegetable growing, the three sisters. Now that is the epitome of companion planting, if you like. So you've got the three sisters is three plants that grow together to support each other. All three is around like a circular motion, if you like. They all support each other. So you've got the corn, squash, and you've got beans. Now the corn is the support, as in the physical support, so it's tall. The beans grow up the squash, up the corn. The beans provide, not only are they being supported by the corn, but they provide the nitrogen for all three to grow. They feed the three sisters, they provide the food as well. So they climb up the corn, so the corn's their support. The beans are the support, or the peas are support for the rest of the plants. They feed the plants. So their little nodules on their roots will fix the nitrogen into the soil. So they feed the plants. And then we've got the squash that keeps all their roots cool. So it grows along the ground, it's ground cover, and it keeps the roots cool and suppresses weeds as well. So they all work together really nicely in those three structures. So it's that's the epitome really of companion planting when it comes to physical support. So they work together really well. So it doesn't have to be just about attracting in the beneficial insects and, as I say, like feeding the ground and whatever. It can be about physical support as well. So you can use companion planting to promote balance in your garden as well. So to promote the overall health of your garden, as I was saying earlier, promote the resilience of your plants as well. So this can be in the realms of, as I say, about attracting pollinators in to help complete the life cycle of your plants. It can be about the beneficial insects and wildlife as well, the attracting into your garden, which will then manage the pest population in your garden and then reduce the damage that they cause to your plants and then keeping the garden happy and healthy that way. And it can also be, like I was saying with the peas, they fix the nitrogen into the soil, so they will then feed your garden over time, they'll feed your garden. It's the same with a lot of things. So a lot of things will feed the garden through their roots. So the legume family, the pea and bean family, if you like, they do a really good job of doing this with nitrogen. But things like, to say, dandelions, their taproot stores an awful lot of good nutrients they bring up from like the subsoil. So having dandelions and stuff in the garden isn't always a bad thing. They can also provide a lot of nutrients into the soil as well, which will feed your plants. Companion planting can also create balance in your garden as well. So there's an awful lot to companion planting, a lot more than people think. It's not just about the flowers to attract in the bees. There's an awful lot more to it than that. So I have got, a companion planting playlist set up, so you can have a look through those videos that will tell you a little bit more about all the different aspects that I talked about for companion planting in a bit more detail. So I've gone down the vegetable route, I've gone down the flowers and for the wildlife route, growing flowers in your garden, all the different aspects I've gone through. So there's loads of different videos on there that you can just binge to your heart's content. Just have a little watch every now and then and talk about different companion plants that you can include in your garden and how they can support your garden. So as far as pollinators go, I'll break it down into pollinators and support, so it's easier. As far as pollinators go, you want to go for a variety of different companion plants if you can, because different pollinators need different types of flowers to feed and to get what they need to get the nectar and things out. So different insects will be able to feed from different types of flowers. So by having a variety of different flowers in your garden, you're going to have the best chance of attracting in a variety of different insects, which is what we want. You want as many as you can. You don't want to stick to one sort of insect, if you like, or one way of one feeding. So variety is the spice of life, as they say. So you want to be going for flat flowers, like, as you say, marigolds, daisies, that side of families. You want to be going for the tubular or the trumpet type flowers. So say foxgloves are really good for this, very good. Amazing, and plus they flower so well. They produce so many different flowers. I think I had some delphiniums as well last year that the bees were going crazy for as well. So same sort of thing. They're tubular type flowers. And yes, so then you've got the flowers, the multi-flowered. Baby's breath, that was the first one that popped in my mind. The things like that, that will attract the much smaller insects. And again, they will either pollinate and they will feed on different pests in your garden as well. So it might not be the insect that's feeding on the pest that you want to control, but it might be the nymph as well. So you've got to think about it both ways. You want to attract them in, not just for them, but you want to attract them in so they can start their family in their garden, and then they'll start to keep your garden as their home. So variety, you need to go for variety. Now, different vegetables, as I said about the peas earlier, different vegetables will also be very good companion plants for your garden. You can plant these as well. I always forget to say this. You don't have to plant vegetables just in your vegetable patch. Now, I also encourage people to plant flowers, obviously in their vegetable patch, as far as companion planting goes, to attract in more insects into the garden. But sweet peas, I plant along with my normal peas as well for the colour. So I've got purple peas growing this year because I thought they'd be quite nice, like sugar snap peas, but they're purple. And I've got sweet peas growing in amongst them. The odour of the sweet peas will attract in more pollinators to the vegetable patch. They will also do the same as the normal peas, and they'll fix the nitrogen into the soil. So they'll do really well doing that. And around them, I grow lettuces. And cabbage I did last year as well. But the lettuce is really good because they all they work together in how you'd eat them as well, because they're like fresh. And the lettuce needs a good nitrogen source to grow nicely, grow well, happy and healthily. So the peas provide that for them, which is really good. So anything that needs a good nitrogen source, try growing sweet peas or normal sugar snap peas or pea peas or beans around them. Pea peas around them, and that will provide all the food they'll ever want, believe me, and more. One of my favourites is nasturtiums for attracting in pollinators. Nasturtiums work really well in the way that they are incredibly bright coloured flowers. They're quite an open, but they are a tubular. Technically, they're like a tubular flower, if you like, but they're quite open and bright. They work really well as a decoy plant, because the aphids love them. But the bright coloured flowers also attract in ladybirds, who inadvertently like to eat aphids. So it works the same as sunflowers. They attract in all the aphids, and then the ladybirds come in for the colourful flowers, and then eat the aphids, which is really good. So it's a really good way of grouping together all the pests that you want to get rid of in one space, and then providing them on a plate to the ladybirds in the world to come and eat, which is lovely. I'm sure. It sounds horrible, but it's lovely, I'm sure, for them. But it's a really good way of keeping the pests in one area of your garden. So say using a decoy, they group there and they're easier for them to pick off. I use sunflowers in this way as well. As I say, black fly likes the sunflowers, which aphids do as well. And they will sort of group on the stem. They don't so much go for the flower, but they group on the stem. And then the insects that come in to eat them, they're just there for them. It's like a buffet. So it all groups to one place. But then you don't get them around your garden so much because they go to the bits that they want to eat. They know they're big and structural, so they can see them and they go to those first. So decoy plants are quite important in the garden, really, to keep all the pests in one place and make it easier for the things that are going to eat them to find them. So it works. But that's what I use nasturtiums for. So we've got pollinators, which you spoke about, all the different types of flowers. The having variety in your garden as well. The support, so we said about the corn supporting the peas, like in the Three Sisters. And we've got trees and shrubs or standard plants, if you like, as acting as support. And then we've got for structural support, if you like, for shade and things like that. They act for shade. So if a plant needs shelter or needs more of a shady spot, using the plants to create shade or to barrier wind, to create like a windbreak for plants, that's a really good way of providing support as a companion plant as well. And then what I said about the decoy plants as well, about the nasturtiums and the sunflowers I've got growing in the garden. So they work really well to then keep all the pests in one place and make it really easy for the things that come in to eat the pests to find them and eat them. So that works really well. So yes, pollinator friendly support and decoys as well. So as I say, there's a whole other level to companion planting that people don't often think about or associate with. So if you thought about companion planting in this sort of way, you can see how they fit and can support your entire garden and help to support and manage the overall health of your garden. And not just be there as a bit of colour and to attract in a few bees, but actually they're going to play a massive role in your garden and going to save you an awful lot of time through the season that you could be spending enjoying your garden. Companion plants, I want to talk to you about my little freebie that I've created for you today. To be fair, I haven't created it fresh. I have updated last year's version of it, but it is, ta-da! So I've got the Green Fingertips Companion Planting Guide, which is the 2022 version for you. So it's all been updated with a bit more information in there for you as well. But it has got, which you might have seen this before, if you can see that clearly. I'm not sure you can see it clearly. It's the actual companion planting guide, the original, the best version. So this is all to do with your vegetable patch. Now I've done it on vegetable patch because it's the easiest way of getting the best out of companion planting in your garden, in my opinion. You can plant all sorts of flowers throughout your garden as it comes to flowering and things, but to see the best results, I think the vegetable patch is a really good place to incorporate companion plants. You see the results so much faster. It's amazing. So that's in my companion planting guide. So I have you this copy here. So in this guide, in this planner, if you like, I've got for you all the different vegetables that you can grow in your garden. And if you've downloaded the other guide I did the other day, the Sowing and Growing in your Veg Patch, I've actually got this in more detail in there as well. So you can check that out. It's got a bit more of when you can sow things, when you can plant things out, that sort of things. So you can download that whenever you like. But yes, getting off on tangent again. So the companion planting guide, which I've got for you today, which I'll link later on this afternoon, has got all the different vegetables that you can grow in your garden, that you might want to grow in your garden, all different sorts of things. And it will have in there as well, listed underneath each vegetable, the plants that grow best with them and will be best companion plants for them. So this doesn't just mean the plants that will attract the best insects to your garden, or the plants that will create physical support for each vegetable. They also include the plants that you can use for interplanting, so they will grow nicely together using best use of space, which is amazing because a massively important part of vegetable growing really is using the space to the best you possibly can efficiently, without having to cross over the different types of vegetables that you grow and doubling up each year. So to have them be able to interplant and use the space the best you possibly can is such a time saver, and you can grow so much more in your garden if you go by these rules of like interplanting and companion planting. You can grow and get so much more out of your garden. So I've included that in here. So you've got the different vegetables, and then you've got the plants that you can interplant and the plants that will support them as companion planting, if you like. So we'll attract in the insects to pollinate your plants. We'll attract the wildlife and the insects as well to manage the pests and everything as well. An updated version for this year, so you can check that out. It's all free. So just because I love you guys, I create things for you if you enjoy. But on that note, I'll call it a day, and I will speak to you all later on.